Before I get started, I just want to clarify that there are no perfect locations or perfect anything in general. So just please take this pros and cons as my personal experience and nothing against what's right or wrong. Hello guys, I'm Christina. If you're new to my channel, I'm an American living in Bali. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living here. So for me personally, I was living in Miami, Florida. I also lived in Vietnam for 2 years and then I came here to Bali. So I've been living in Bali for the past 4 months, and a lot of the pros and cons are going to be comparisons or my personal experience because I've lived in those places. And if you're ready to watch more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos. All right, let's get started. So in no particular order, let's jump into the first pro, and for me it is the lifestyle here. So the lifestyle in Bali is definitely going to be that digital nomad lifestyle. When I was in the US, I remember Googling Bali and researching about it, and I really love the lifestyle that you'll see people just working online and then enjoying their life, going to the beach, enjoying doing adventures and stuff. And it definitely stays up to par. I would say Bali really does have all these infrastructures for this type of life. So when you come here, you're definitely going to be able to work online, enjoy your time, and also really live. This island on its own has volcanoes, it has beaches, it has mountains, it has all different types of things you may want to experience, which I really like about it. So on the same subject of lifestyle, I have to say that the cost of living is relatively cheap. When you think about living in the US, a lot of the cost of living is pretty high. You guys can definitely relate, which is why a lot of us work so much to afford our home. And when you come to Bali, what's really great about that is that the cost of living can be relatively low. And I just want to be cautious about that because it does depend on how you want to live. So if you want to live lavishly, there definitely is the option for that. If you really want to go on the affordable side, it's also here for you. When you come to Bali and you're renting, for example, a villa, you can rent a villa on your own if you want to ball out. It does come with staff that includes housekeepers and also a gardener, depending if you have a pool person. All of those are included in the price. So for me, living in a shared villa, I also have those costs where cleaning is included almost every day if you want to. They also include toilet paper and also soap. So those are the costs that you can remove from your grocery list, which is very nice. And if you guys want me to do an in-depth cost of living here in Bali, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's go to the second pro of living here in Bali. And for me, that is the food. And I'm talking also about Indonesian and Western food. Bali does have an array of options, which makes it a lot easier if you're a foreigner here. Now that might come sometimes into cost, so you just have to watch out for that. But there's Indonesian food. You can find a local warung where the cost could be as low as $1 or less. Or you can even eat at your best Western restaurants, also beach clubs. There are a lot of options. And if you are a foodie and you like vegan food, you have to go to Zest Ubud, which has probably like the best vegan burger in Bali. Like, trust me on this. If you guys want to see more about that, I do have a video about it right over here for you to check it out. Another pro about living in Bali is definitely the quality of life. What I mean by that, guys, is just convenience. Like, if things are easy and convenient, it just makes it really fun and enjoyable. For me, one thing that I found that's very convenient here, I don't know if it's because of the pandemic, but a lot of places offer delivery services. So for us, we can get our laundry delivered straight to our door. And to me, that is an amazing thing. I have been in other countries where I could drop my laundry in somewhere and pick it up. But the fact that somebody can come to your house, pick it up, wash it, and bring it back to you, it just makes things easier. Another thing too is a lot of beauty services. So if you wanted to get your hair cut, get a wax, facial, massages, all of those services are available at your house. So I think convenience definitely improves the quality of your life. The next pro about living here in Bali would definitely have to be the Indonesian people for me. I've had very different experiences when it comes to older Indonesians and also younger Indonesian people, and I found for both have been very positive. When it comes to older people, I feel like they're very nice in general, informative. Like if you have any questions, definitely very helpful. And when it comes to younger people, they're so hip. I feel like I'm saying that like I'm old, but I'm talking about like young young 20-year-olds or 18-year-olds, they're helpful, number one, but they're very hip. Like, they know a lot of stuff, they're willing to share, they're excited to share and invite you to many places. So I think it's really nice to have a sense of community when you come to a new country. The next pro that I want to talk about could be a pro or a con depending on how you see it. Again, this is just my personal experience, and I'm talking about safety. Now, when it comes to safety in Bali, I have personally felt very safe. As far as if I'm walking out somewhere, if I'm in the street and I'm walking, do I feel safe? Like, do I feel like somebody's going to attack me? No. So that to me is a good feeling, to know that I am safe in that area. Obviously, there are certain neighborhoods that you don't want to go to at night, like anywhere in the world. But in general, being in the expat area, I always feel safe by myself or with my friends. Now, I do want to caution you guys, in general, when you're going anywhere in the world, there are going to be petty thefts. That's something that's very common. I don't want to say it's specific to Bali. It's specific basically anywhere in the world. Like, somebody can always steal your stuff. So this is something that you have to be very careful of. Now, this is not something that I have experienced, but I do have some friends that had their phones robbed while they were riding on a motorbike. So this is something that I am aware of now. So I'm very careful when I'm going out, putting my stuff in the right place. And a lot of common things that I've heard that are being stolen here are helmets and phones. So if you're riding and you have a really nice helmet, just make sure you take it in with you when you're going somewhere. Or if you have a phone and you're riding and you're looking for directions, just be careful to not leave it out, because it's very easy for people to steal it. I personally feel safe in general, but I know that there are these cases, so I have to be aware. I have to be cautious when I'm walking out and not have my things out and just exposed where it's easy for somebody to steal it. But besides that, I do feel like it's okay to go out and enjoy myself. All right, so let's go into the cons, the negative things about living here in Bali. And the first con for me would have to be the noise. Bali is noisy. As much as, okay, let me not say Bali, I'll say more Canggu, or the expat area is pretty noisy to me. And it really depends on the areas that you're living, of course. That's all going to depend. But for me, where I am, I have a lot of dogs in my neighborhood, and the dogs are a thing here. There's a lot of dogs at the beach and everywhere, but they are constantly barking. And the funny thing is that there are no dogs in my complex, but those dogs are from the neighbors, and they still are in the street barking, and I can hear it all the time. Granted, they do let me know when my Gojek is here, so I guess I could take it as a pro. But in general, it is a lot of barking, and that is hard to deal with sometimes, guys, because I'm sleeping, I'm doing some work, I'm trying to record a video, and you hear woo woo woo, and there's nothing you can do about it. And also bugs. Bugs make a lot of noise here. I mean, I was living in Florida, there are bugs there too, but here, I don't know why they're so loud. Like, there is one gecko that makes this noise. Let me see if I can do it for you. It goes I'm sure if you're in Bali, you recognize this. Let me know if you do in the comments, because that one does not stop and there's nothing I can do about it. In some ways, I'm excited because that means it's eating a mosquito or something, so thank you. But on the other end, it's like, it doesn't stop. You don't know when it's gonna stop. Or there's also frogs. So yeah, in general, bugs. These are all things that you can expect. And for me, I have to say, I'm lucky enough that these are just animal noises and insect noises. For some people, it's construction noise. So just be aware if you're moving to a villa and you see an empty lot, or you see the construction starting, it's just going to go for a while. And the reason why I want to bring that up when it comes to noise is because a lot of places don't have good soundproofing. For example, we had a room that we were staying in where the walls were so thin, our neighbor was watching TV and you can hear everything, so there's not that much privacy in a way. So that's just something to be aware of. It's definitely a con for me, like a lot of noise from different things. So that leads me to the next con for me in living in Bali, and that is the living situation or housing here in Bali. So if you think about Bali, especially when I was back home thinking about Bali, I always thought about living in a villa, having my own pool and everything. But when you come here, I mean, you can definitely do it. Like I said, it depends on your budget. If you're trying to save, this is probably not the best option. So for me, I'm staying in a shared villa, which means that I'm renting a room and every other area in the villa is shared. So I'm I'm sharing the kitchen, dining, living room, and also the pool. All of those areas are shared between my neighbors. The con that really implies to me in that is just that there's not as much privacy. So when you have your own space, like it's me and my husband here, so we have one room that we share, and the rest of the places we're sharing with other people. So a lot of the times, if you're looking for a quiet place to work or to just do something, there's always people around, so you can get very distracted. So it's so easy for you to lose track of time or just have your day go by and nothing gets done. I do miss the idea of having your own private place. And why is because there's not as much privacy when you live with a group of people. I think it's really nice when you're first coming here, especially if you're single. If you live in a shared villa, you're definitely going to meet a lot of people, you're gonna make friends, you're gonna interact with your neighbors. It's definitely great for that. But when it comes to having your spot where you need to focus or do things, it is so easy to get distracted when you have neighbors. If you want to focus a lot in Bali, a lot of people go to co-working spaces, but those can cost a lot. So for me, I do wish the living situations were a lot better, where you can have more apartments, like private spaces that you have everything to your own. But I guess that means I have to try to make a lot of money so I can get my own villas. The next con for me will have to be the traffic and the roads. I hadn't experienced traffic in a long time, and I mean like true traffic. You're staying in one spot and you can't move. Even if you're on a motorbike, there's no way for you to go around because the road is just blocked. That's something that I was kind of shocked when I was just staying on the bike, like, oh wait, we haven't been moving for 10 minutes, like what's going on? So this is something that was very different for me, and this just again comes from my personal experience being used to not having traffic. So it's just something to get used to, because a lot of people have talked about it, but for me, not having experienced it and then experienced it, I was just a bit taken back by that. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Another thing that kind of adds to that is the roads. So the infrastructure in Bali is actually not the best. So the roads are pretty small, so there's not usually enough room for 2 big cars to go through. So imagine having all the bikes and the cars. So there's a lot of maneuvering around, and sometimes I feel like it's not even the safest because people just go around so fast. Yeah, you have to watch out for that, because people do drive a little bit around the cars, and the cars, yeah. So in general, what I mean, the roads are not the best. And if you guys have heard of the shortcut in Bali, oh my god, I didn't understand why somebody actually put that on a bucket list. I was actually researching like things to do in Bali, and I came across the bucket list that said surviving the shortcut in Bali. I was like, that is something that we need to do. And after going through it recently, where the road was so bad, guys, there are bricks on the road and the bricks are completely falling off, and when you're riding on a bike with that, it's so easy to fall in the end because there's no ledge, there's nothing on either side, there's just rice field. So if there's a car coming your way, you kind of have to scoot to the side and hope that they don't touch you. It's insane. So yeah, it's that's one thing that makes it uncomfortable to have to drive from one place to another. It makes you not even want to go out sometimes, to be honest, just because to me in some places they're too dangerous, and in some other areas it just takes too long. So in general, what I'm trying to say is that the roads are not the easiest to drive through. Yes, you can drive through them, but they're not the easiest, and there may be a lot of traffic, even though now it's not like there's not a lot of tourists in Bali, but still you will go through a little bit of traffic. So just keep that in mind. For me, it's a con. The last con for me about living in Bali is going to be the currency. Now before you like look at me like what? What I mean by that is that the highest bill in Indonesia is 100,000 Indonesian rupiahs. Let me see if I can actually show you guys what I mean. This is 100,000 Indonesian rupiahs. And the reason why it's a con for me is because since this is their highest bill, a lot of your purchases sometimes are going to be well over that. So it makes you have to constantly go to the ATM, in my personal experience. I'm not talking for everybody, but a lot of the time it ends up having like you have to take more cash just because that's the highest bill. So every time you're paying things, it's just like 100,000, 100,000. I wish it was a higher bill because that will make some purchases easier than others. Sometimes when I'm paying for my rent, for example, and I'm going to the ATM, I have to just take so much out, you know? So versus like if I had a 500,000, if I'm paying like 1 million for something and just have 2. I hope that makes sense. In general, for me, the currency is just about those, but it's not a big deal, but I still wanted to just mention it. And also, if you guys don't know, they do have coins here as well. This is something that I had kind of disconnected from when I was living in Vietnam. They do not have coins, so I was used to when I'm paying for something, not have to worry about all the little extra change. Nothing serious, but I just wanted to mention it as well. Now, did you agree with my pros and cons of living here in Bali? Please let me know in the comments your thoughts. Did you agree with some of them? Did you not? Do you feel like this was a bit too much? Just let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you have any suggestions for more videos about living here in Bali, make sure to leave them in the comments as well.